Welcome, everybody, to the Contact Trio podcast. This is your host, James Benham. I'm joined by the construction app guru, Rob McKinney, and Josh Bone, Bim to the Bone. We're also joined by Brian Burke, CEO of Plans for Less. We're going to talk about paper technology. Actually, there's some really cool stuff we learned, and we want to talk about how Plans for Less is changing the repro industry. Back in a second. So, greetings. It's the end of day one at the SmartBid User Conference 2016. Rob, how was your day?
It was a great day. Talked to a lot of people. Heard about some very innovative ways to use printing technology today that I'm excited about.
It is cool. It's what we're going to be talking about a little bit. But what else did you learn here at the conference?
You know, this technology literacy thing that we've talked about for a couple of weeks is very interesting, just seeing different people come through the technology booth that have never seen Smart Reality the first time, and what will that do? There's been a long line for HoloLens all day. Everybody wants some HoloLens.
There has.
We could use a dozen of those if anyone's listening from the state of Washington out there. Definitely could use more of those. So there's a lot of people very excited to see what we're talking about with workflows, with adoption. A lot of good stuff. Josh, you've had a lot of conversations I've been eavesdropping on myself.
Yeah, I had a chance to speak this morning to a large group and had some good BIM discussion and ongoing discussion coming out of that. But the big takeaway for me is that, guys, our industry we know our industry and we know it well, but then you get a chance to talk to some of these true pre-construction professionals, those that are involved in the bidding process, and they like to dig in deep. So I've learned a number of things today.
Thoroughly enjoyed your presentation.
Good.
So it was Bada Bid, Bada Bim.
Bada bid, bada bim.
That's a great name for the presentation.
Yeah,
but
that was cool.
What'd you talk about?
Focus directly on how we can leverage technology around the BIM side of the world in the bidding process. And we talked about a number of tools, things they can be proactive at and get a better job, more accurate, save more time, better accuracy. Good stuff.
Awesome. So I was thrilled to hear the response. We had lots of QA time at this year's conference. That was a big feedback item from last year, is adding tons of time for QA. The users loved it. They ate it up. We also had our very first user-led presentations, which were totally awesome, actually. I mean, really, really good. We talked about confidentiality agreements, good faith effort reporting, some really important stuff. So that was, the day. We opened up this morning. If you didn't get to watch my opening keynote, it is up on Periscope. That's at twitter.com/James M. Benham. You can see the link in there. You can also just follow me at Periscope. My Twitter account is James M. Benham as well there on Periscope. That's my user account name. So you can go and watch. That was about an hour and 15-minute presentation. We talked about everything we got done in the last year and what we got coming up next. Next keynote will be tomorrow evening, Tuesday evening, and we're about to go to the evening social reception. But before we do that, I really wanted to talk to Brian Burke, CEO of Plans for Less. Brian, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, James. How are you?
Man, outstanding. I'm just fired up to have you here. It's awesome having you here at the user conference, second year in a row.
It is. Thank you so much for having us. We're glad to sponsor the event, and thrilled to be joined with the other partners and the other sponsors here. We're talking about collaboration and talking about integration of our services. And
yep.
This has been kind of an idea, and now the idea is going into concept and idea, and now it's kind of going into it's
reality.
Fully going.
Yeah,
and
we have orders. We have customers using a product, and they're saving money and they're getting better service, and it's really exciting. So why don't you tell all of our listeners what Plans for Less does?
Plans for Less is a fixed pricing model for printing large format drawings, and we print large format drawings in black and white, and we also print them as half size as well for contractors and subcontractors. And generally, we're doing a lot of the printing during the bidding phases of the projects. When the jobs go out to bid, subcontractors need sets of plans to do their takeoffs from, and unfortunately, I think the three of you are very tech savvy and understand technology. Our clients are not there yet. They are still requiring paper drawings to do this type of work, and I don't know what the percentage is. You might have the numbers, but we see that we're printing more and more and more, and the sets are getting larger and larger and larger, and I don't know why that is. I think we were looking at a set of drawings for a high school built in the 40s, and it was less than 100 drawings for the whole high school. Now, if we build a high school in where I am, it's 400 drawings.
Well, part of that has to be the complexity of building systems now. And part of it has to be...
Or the lack of craftsmanship.
And the lack of craftsmanship, because you didn't have to detail every last little item before, right? I mean, there was a lot of implied design on
Intent,
older...
design intent.
Yeah, design intent. Yeah, when I go through old plans, and I actually found some, because we office in a hardware store built in 1890. When I looked back at the old plans, they were extremely simplistic because the craftsman interpreted the plans and built something out of them. Now we specify every square inch of the building, and we have more complex building systems, so it results in a lot more sets. I think also legal defensibility is a huge deal, and really, the last phase of construction, the lawsuit, really drives a lot of that. So it's interesting seeing that happen. Of course, it results in more printing business for you, which is never a bad thing. What makes Plans for Less unique and different?
Well, it's unique because it's a fixed pricing model, and we're one of the first ones to start it. We came up with it about 4 years ago because we really listened to our subcontractors who are getting invitations to bid every single day from multiple GCs, and they said, well, how much is it going to cost for me to have a full set of these drawings? In the old reprographics world, or the reprographics world as it exists today, is still on a sliding scale where you will call a reprographer and you say, I have 100 drawings. They say, well, what size are the drawings? Well, they're 30 by 42. Well, it's going to cost you this much because there's that many square feet. And if you order 2 sets, we're going to give you a discount on 2 sets. And we're taking that right out of the equation because it frustrated our clients. And it was even hard for our employees to translate that sliding scale on every single job, every single week. So we looked at this and said, let's make this simple. These subcontractors don't have the time to figure out what this is going to cost. They can understand 100 drawings is going to cost them $100 if we do a full-size set. And they understand there's going to be a shipping cost. So we started that model years ago, and we really started to push it out, and people really adapted to it very quickly because it was simple. They didn't know what size the drawings were because they were on their mobile device. They were in a job site trailer. They were in their truck for lunch. They weren't going to download these plans and figure out what size they were or how many drawings there were. Some of these subcontractors will actually trust us to pull the drawings that they need, if they need structural drawings or if they need architectural drawings. And for the most part, our operators can do that. We always have a disclaimer, like, don't rely on us to do that for you, to make sure your bid is accurate or not accurate. We don't want that responsibility.
Or the liability.
But they understand that. They say, well, if you get them to us, 9 times out of 10, they're going to be fine for us to bid on. We might ask for some additional things because an architect here or there might put something on the roof that's on an architectural drawing that has to do with a mechanical, and vice versa. So, that's been our model, and our model now is to have our site, our e-commerce site, where plans are getting uploaded every day, and we are now partnering up with different printers all over the country who are really starving for some work because the reprographic business has taken a big hit over the last few years. I know because I ran a company myself. And now they're happy to have us sending them drawings for projects that they would never be printing for because they don't have the access to the files that we do now that we have a partnership.
Sure, and your rates are what, a buck a plan for large size sets and 50 cents for half size, right?
That's correct.
So you just went to a flat price model and said, you know what, if it's D, E, whatever, it's a buck. Yep. And if it's a half size D, it's 50 cents.
Yes.
So it's a simple model. What we really want our listeners to listen to, I mean, this is pretty cool. And that is a revolutionary business model. It's simple, it's easy to understand, it saves people money, and they can predict their costs, which contractors love. So, I mean, right out of the gate, you got me. It's print and ship, and it's a simple model. It's just there's a lot of beauty and simplicity. But something that I think is really cool is what you're doing in what we would call augmented reality. I mean, now when we talk about augmented reality, we're really talking about the use of digital products to augment the world around you. When you talk about augmented reality, you're actually talking about taking plans and making wallpaper out of them. I mean, this is absolutely, guys, I mean, awesome use of this technology, is it not?
I couldn't believe it when I saw it. But it does make a ton of sense. It's the cost of doing it the wrong way.
Okay, so, Brian, walk our listeners through exactly how the heck you pull this off.
Well, I have a good relationship with a local general contractor, and they call us, daily for work. And one of them said to us, we spend a lot of money doing these full-size mock-ups of these hospital rooms. And what can we do to cut that cost down? And they said, Brian, can you print wallpaper? And I thought, oh, okay. I'm in the graphics business too, besides the blueprint business, right? We do a lot of large format graphic printing, point of purchase signs for banks and jewelers, and there's a lot of different applications out there for printing on substrates. Right? We print on wallpaper material and color. There's no doubt about it. We print on canvas. Well, we're not going to do that for this job. We're not going to print on really wallpaper material because the price would just be, and the printer we'd have to use would just be cost prohibitive of doing it. So I said, well, what do we have in mind? They said, well, we're going to send you 3 elevations, and we'd like you to print these elevations in full size and deliver them to the job site, and we're going to tape them to the wall. So when we have the owner of the hospital come in, and we're going to have the architect come in.
Painter's tape.
And we're going to tape these on the walls with painter's tape. And, I'm from, I don't know, I kind of would do anything people say. I'll try it out. There's no rule that says I can't do this. So I said, well, let me try it.
How'd you line it all up? They gave you instructions. You gave them a set of instructions. I mean, alignment's critical in this.
Yeah, well, I spent a lot of time taking the elevations and figuring out what scale the drawing was, or the elevation was on the drawing.
1-to-1 scale. I've never seen that before. 1 foot to 1 foot scale. I've never used it.
I must say I've never used a 1 foot to 1 foot either. Yeah. So you did a 1 foot to 1 foot scale.
Right, you take it from a quarter inch equals a foot.
Or a 1 inch to 1 inch.
1 inch to 1 inch, that's right.
1 centimeter to 1 centimeter.
10 foot. There you go. Never used that scale.
Well, we figured out the scale. It was a quarter inch or 3/16 equal a foot. We did the math. We got our percentage, and we started to run with it. And we did some tests, right? We wanted to make sure we're doing it right before we print all these walls out and deliver it. But we would print them in section by section, 3-foot sections, because our printer can only do 3 feet. And it was 3 feet by any length, which was a nice thing about our printers. So if it was 21 feet long, it was a 3-foot swatch. And when that came out, we would roll it up, and then we would mark it. This is elevation, 3F, and this is the bottom panel. And then we do 3F middle panel, 3F top panel. And if there was a 10-foot ceiling, we'd have that 4th panel that would come in on a smaller piece of paper, and we would deliver them rolled up in a box, and then they would install them. And we got some pictures of them. I was showing everybody here at the Contact Trio those pictures today.
To all our listeners, I'm going to be writing a blog post on this because we talked about this last week. Technology is not just, and Todd Wynn said it, it's not just software.
No.
It's process improvement. And this is an amazing, simple way of having something you can write on, mark up, and they do. They actually write the annotations on the plans, and they say, no, move the plug here. And, of course, the really awesome thing is if you had a really simple way of digitizing that back end and getting it back on the plans, getting the annotations from the paper, and, of course, there are some ways to do that. But, I mean, absolutely awesome use of technology. What you end up with, and you'll see the photos in the blog post, what you end up with is a room that has wallpaper that is everything that's on that room, and so you're seeing the elevation.
True scale interior elevations.
It's #paper reality. It's paper reality.
Paper reality. Oh, Rob's
PR.
the Rob's exact
That's
AR,
some true PR.
AR, VR, MR, and PR.
PR.
Rob's always going for the
He
tags,
is.
man,
He
isn't he?
is.
He's like,
Think
he's a
about
tag.
it, though.
tagging
How
hound.
easy
It is
is it
totally
now?
true, though.
You're the GC. You walk in with the owner, the design team, everybody in there, and it's literally everything's on the wall. There's no debate about, well, do you see that? I don't see that. Is that right? Is that wrong? You get out the
Awesome.
Sharpie.
No, it's just
walk
awesome.
the doctors
It's what we
in.
saw in the photos.
That's it.
They annotate and mark up the whole space, and they say, no, this doesn't feel right. And, of course, what's really cool, too, Brian, and you don't know this, is with all of our Smart Reality AR technology, we can use those plans, and we need to do a demo of this.
All right, yeah.
We need to do a demo of this with your client. Get the BIM model for that room. We can make the model come out of the plans and use the wallpaper as the AR target in Smart Reality. So we're going to do that. We're going to do that so that way they can write on it, but then if they point the tablet at the wallpaper, the models will come out of the wall.
Wow,
So that
that's
bed,
awesome.
because
That is really-
it was a hospital room, and so you had that bed. We can
The
read that
headboard,
and then we can bring the headboard and the bed out into the room.
All the machines, the
We're
hoses.
gonna do it. We're gonna do it, Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be PR mixed with AR. PAR, paper augmented reality.
Nice.
Guys, this is awesome stuff. Now, you've also done some interesting things where you did actually magnetized paper, so you can print the plans and then you can put layout and job site coordination.
Your logistics.
Yeah, again, we can print on any substrate, and a client came to us saying that they wanted to have a working logistics model that they could change every single day, and they wanted to notate each subcontractor a different color and have these printed, not full-scale floor plans, but the regular size floor plans, and we'd print them out, and they would be able to say that, subcontractor A is in this section of the hospital, subcontractor B, and they would be able to note that by color. And then they were starting to talk about doing logistic plans and saying where the dumpsters are going to be, where the trailer is going to be, where the crane's going to be. And we're doing some tests right now for them, and they're real excited about it, but it seemed like we were printing out game boards, and, after seeing all the tech here, yesterday, it seems like it's a little bit backwards to go forwards, but hey, we like to
what
print.
though?
It's
It
a planning
works
tool.
and it keeps them coordinated.
Right.
So there is some significant value in it. And I'm impressed. I mean, I just like that you're not a traditional reprographer. You don't have a brick and mortar back office. You've developed a fantastic network of folks. You're printing and shipping when necessary. You're printing and delivering when possible. You're focusing on digital delivery. You're focusing on alternative paper solutions, and you brought a very simple price point to the marketplace.
Yeah.
And you're definitely shaking some people up for sure.
We have gotten a little bit of attention, and we like that. And I think what it was is we had some naysayers saying, hey, why are you putting this price out? Why are you doing this? And, we said, if we don't make this process simple, other people are going to do things to solve their problems, and we're going to be left out.
You're
and
right.
I didn't want to be left out. When I had a brick and mortar shop and 9 full-time employees and, leases and, we had to do something different. And our marketplace was stagnant there for a while. And we had one contractor that was shipping all of their employees about 2 hours north of us to work on jobs where the market was much stronger. They had a pharmaceutical job and some hospitals. So their employees for the local office that we were doing work for were leave on Sunday night, work all week, and then drive home on Friday night. And they kept saying, Brian, why can't you come up here and do business? And I said, yeah, we can do business up there. We just got to change the mindset. Let's change the mindset of how this works. We're not limited anymore by miles. The technology does not say that you can't do work in California, Florida, Chicago, wherever. And we said, well, let's do it. And my mom was in the floral business, and so I know everything about FTD.
Yep.
So I said we could be the FTD of reprographic shops.
Absolutely, you can. Why not?
Yeah.
Plus, it's a great brand. Brian Burke, here at the Smart BidNet User Conference 2016. Brother, thank you for coming.
Thrilled. Thank you for having me on.
Appreciate
Love
it.
Thank you.
And guys, Josh, closing comments for the day here at SBN UC before we head out to the evening reception.
I did forget one thing that I learned today, and I think all of you will find this astonishing. James is not as savvy in his Hollywood movie star as he is.
Y'all
in
need to
his
let
technology.
this go. You need, come on, he looks a lot like him.
This picture of Bryan Cranston,
Dude, he
came
looks
up,
like Tom
and
Hanks.
He's like Tom.
He
Tom-
looks like Tom Hanks in that picture.
Hey, I love it.
I didn't put
love
that
it.
slide
I
in.
love it.
I got
love
you.
it.
From now on,
I
just
love it.
include the Microsoft AI in all of your presentations, and
So-
then know what's in
We
there.
don't get a chance. We don't get
You
a
guys
chance to
are
bust
terrible.
on you
No,
much.
you
We don't get
don't.
a chance to bust on you much.
I
We
love
have
it.
to.
I love you guys, so it's okay. You can do it. Rob, your closing comments.
Can't wait for tomorrow. If you're around or in the area, you're going to hear about great apps. Probably it's going to be on Periscope.
Yep.
We'll also talk about the Smart Bid app and lots of other technology.
Our
that
new
I'm working
Windows
on.
app, all the
Windows
app.
awesomeness
we did with
apps,
editing.
apps, hashtag apps.
Apps. Okay. And that is another awesome episode of the Contact Trio here at SmartBid User Conference 2016. Guys, please listen in tomorrow. Follow us on Twitter. That's at twitter.com/JBKnowledge. You can catch the retweets of all the different Periscope feeds. You can also go on twitter.com/JamesMBenham and watch the Periscope feed of the opening keynote from today and catch the one tomorrow afternoon about 3:30, 4 o'clock, somewhere around there. It'll be online, so just stay tuned on Twitter and on Periscope and on Spreaker, of course. This is the Contact Trio signing out.